Hello students, in the last video we have studied how the nature of substrate affect the SN1 and SN2 reaction, and in that case we have discussed already that the order of reactivity of the alkyl halides for the SN1 reaction is tertiary is greater than secondary is greater than primary is greater than methyl, and for the SN2 reaction the order is reverse. For the SN2 reaction, the methyl halide is more reactive than primary, which is more reactive than secondary, which is more reactive than tertiary. So, nature of substrate affect the SN1 and SN2 reaction. The next factor which affect the SN1 and SN2 reaction is the nucleophilicity of the reagent. Now, here reagent means reagent. Reagent is nothing but the nucleophile. Nucleophile, which attack on the electrophilic center of the alkyl halide, that is the carbon atom of the alkyl halide. This nucleophile is said to be the reagent. Nucleophilicity. Now, nucleophilicity of the nucleophile is the tendency of that nucleophile to release the electrons. Electron releasing property, electron releasing tendency of the nucleophile is known as its nucleophilicity. If the nucleophile can more easily release the electron pair, if the nucleophile can more easily release the electron pair, then its nucleophilicity is more. And this nucleophile is said to be a stronger nucleophile. Stronger nucleophile. If the nucleophile cannot easily release the electron pair, then it is a weaker nucleophile. Its nucleophilicity is less. So here, the nucleophilicity of the nucleophile or the reagent affect the SN1 as well as SN2 reaction. In SN2 reaction, you know that the nucleophile OH negative attack on the carbon atom of alkyl halide, carbon atom of the alkyl halide from back side. This carbon atom of the alkyl halide is the electrophilic center, electron deficient or electrophilic center. And here the nucleophile attack from the back side, and this nucleophile can more easily attack on the carbon atom if its nucleophilicity is more. Means if it is a stronger nucleophile, then it can easily attack on the carbon atom. But if the nucleophile is weaker, then it cannot easily attack on the carbon atom. Means the rate of the SN2 reaction is more if the nucleophile is stronger. If the nucleophilicity of the nucleophile is more. If the nucleophile is more stronger, then the rate of the SN2 reaction is more. Means SN2 reaction is favored by taking a stronger nucleophile. If the nucleophilicity of the nucleophile is greater, then the SN2 reaction is favored, because that nucleophile can easily attack on the carbon atom of the alkyl halide, that is the electrophilic center. But in case of SN1, the nucleophile is not involved in the rate determining step. In the RDS of the reaction, rate determining step of the reaction, there is no involvement of the nucleophile. There is no involvement of the reagent. You know, already we have studied that. In the SN1 reaction, in the RDS, only the alkyl halide, that is only substrate is taking part in the RDS. The nucleophile or the reagent doesn't take part in the RDS. And therefore, whatever may be the nature of the nucleophile, whether the nucleophile has a greater nucleophilicity or less nucleophilicity, whether the nucleophile is a stronger nucleophile or weaker nucleophile, whether the nucleophile can easily donate the electron pair or cannot donate the electron pair, it has no concern with the SN1 reaction. Means SN1 reaction remain unaffected. The rate of the SN1 reaction doesn't depend on the nature of the nucleophile. The nucleophilicity doesn't affect the SN1 reaction. And main reason behind this is, in the SN1 reaction, in the RDS of the reaction, there is no involvement of the nucleophile or the reagent. The reagent doesn't take part in the RDS, while in the SN2 reaction, both the reactants, that is the substrate as well as reagent, take part in the RDS, rate determining step, and therefore here the stronger nucleophile is best for the SN2 reaction. It can easily attack on the carbon atom. But here the nucleophile is not important here. The nucleophilicity is not important here, because whatever may be the type of the nucleophile, whatever may be the type of the reagent, whatever may be its nucleophilicity, whether it is a stronger nucleophile or weaker nucleophile, no matter. it doesn't affect the rate of the SN1 reaction because the nucleophile doesn't take part in the rate determining state of the reaction, and therefore the SN1 reaction is independent of the nature of the nucleophile, while the SN1 reaction depends on the nature of the nucleophile. Means here we can conclude that the stronger nucleophile favors the SN2 reaction. Stronger nucleophile favors the SN2 reaction, while the SN1 reaction is independent of the nature of the nucleophile. Now here, among the nucleophiles, anion is a more stronger nucleophile than its conjugate acid. Alcohol, this is alcohol ROH, and its conjugate acid is RO negative, that is alkoxide ion. So when we compare their nucleophilicity, it is found that the alkoxide ion is a stronger nucleophile than the alcohol. Alkoxide ion is a stronger nucleophile than its alcohol, corresponding alcohol. You should know here conjugate acid. Conjugate acid is nothing but the acid which is obtained by the combination of H positive. When H positive combines in alkoxide ion, then there is a formation of ROH. Means ROH is a conjugate acid of RO negative. And here when we compare, then this RO negative is a stronger nucleophile than ROH. Means any negative ion is a more stronger nucleophile than its conjugate acid. Then the nucleophilicity of the nucleophile also depends on the position of the electron donating group in the periodic table. As we move from left to right in a period, then the nucleophilicity of the nucleophile decreases from left to right. NH3 and H2, these are the two nucleophiles. Now in a period, when we move from left to right, nitrogen is followed by oxygen. Their nucleophilicity is different. The nucleophilicity of ammonia is greater than the nucleophilicity of water. Means ammonia is a more stronger nucleophile than water. Means the nucleophilicity depends on the nature of the electron donating group. Now here from this nucleophile, nitrogen is the electron donor group. Here oxygen is the electron donor group. So if the electron donor group is on the right of the period, then that is a weaker nucleophile. If the electron donor group is on the left of the period, then that nucleophile is a more stronger nucleophile. Means the strength of the nucleophile decreases when the position of the electron donating group moves from left to right. Similarly, in a group also, the tendency of the nucleophile, the nucleophilicity of the nucleophile increases from top to bottom. Here when we compare the Cl negative and I negative, Cl negative is one nucleophile, I negative is also a nucleophile, but I negative is a more stronger nucleophile than Cl negative. Here these are the electron donor atoms, and this electron donor atom is at the bottom of the group, and therefore its electron donating capacity is more. It can easily release the electrons, means its nucleophilicity is greater. Means the nucleophilicity increases from top to bottom when we move in a group from top to bottom. So nucleophilicity affects the rate of the SN2 reaction, but the rate of the SN1 reaction is independent of the nucleophilicity. Then the next important factor which affects the SN1 and SN2 reaction is the nature of the solvent. Nature of solvent. Let us think about the SN1 reaction first. In the SN1 reaction, you know that there is a heterolytic fission of the carbon halogen bond, CBr bond, and there is a formation of ions. In the SN1 reaction, there is a formation of ions. That is the cations and anions. Cation and anion is formed there. Here particularly the carbocation is formed. Carbocation. And the formation of this ion, that is the ionization of the substrate. Ionization of the substrate is favored by the polar solvent. If the solvent is polar solvent, then that polar solvent favors the ionization of the substrate. The substrate get ionized. Suppose this is the substrate, then this substrate will get ionized in this way if the solvent is polar. In presence of polar solvent, the substrate is easily ionized to give the cation and anion. And this cation is here carbocation. Now here both the ions, cation as well as anion, get solvated. Solvated means they get surrounded by the solvent molecules. Both the types of ions, cations as well as anions, get surrounded by the solvent molecule. It is known as solvation. But here the solvation of the cation or the carbocation is poor. Solvation of the carbocation is poor. The anion is largely or greatly solvated. There is a great solvation of the anion. And this solvation, due to the solvation of the anion, it gets stabilized. It gets stabilized. Anion gets stabilized because of its solvation. And therefore, here the SN1 reaction is favored in presence of the polar solvent. Particularly about this anion get solvated because of the solvent which is hydrogen bonding, like water. If this is the anion, then this anion will get solvated in this way. Water molecules get collected around this anion, means this anion gets surrounded by the water molecules in this manner, means there is solvation, and for the solvation of the anion, the polar solvents are the solvents which can form the hydrogen bond, which are also known as the protic solvents. The protic solvents are here necessary. Protic solvents. Protic solvents means the solvents which contain H positive. The solvent which contain hydrogen are called the protic solvent. So protic solvent or the polar solvent favor the ionization of the substrate, and further after the ionization of the substrate, that anion which is formed, that anion is stabilized by the polar solvent or the protic solvent, and therefore the SN1 reaction is favored in presence of the polar solvent or the protic solvent like water. But here the SN2 reaction, the SN2 reaction is not favored by the protic solvent. SN2 reaction is not favored by the polar solvent. Not favored by protic or polar solvent. Because in the SN2 reaction, in the rate determining step, there is an attack of nucleophile on the carbon atom. Nucleophile, that is the OH negative, attack on the carbon atom, electrophilic center. And this nucleophile should not be stable, it should be unstable. It should not get stabilized. But actually what happens if the SN2 reaction is carried out in presence of the polar solvent or protic solvent, then this nucleophile gets solvented. Means solvent molecules get collected here, solvent molecules get collected. There is a solvation of the nucleophile. And when the nucleophile gets solvated, that is when it is surrounded by the solvent molecules, then it gets stabilized. And if this nucleophile which will get stabilized because of the stabilization of the nucleophile, the attack of this nucleophile on the carbon atom from the back side is not possible. Means attacking capacity of the nucleophile get decreased. The attacking capacity of the nucleophile get decreased because of its solvation. And therefore, the SN2 reaction is not favored in presence of the protic solvent or the polar solvent. For the SN2 reaction, the solvent should be aprotic or non-polar solvent. There should be non-polar or aprotic solvent. The aprotic or the non-polar solvent favor the SN2 reaction. What is the reason behind this? Because in presence of the aprotic or non-polar solvent, the nucleophile is not solvated. There is no collection of solvent molecules around the nucleophile, and therefore the nucleophile doesn't get stabilized, and because of that it can attack on the carbon atom from the back side. Its attacking capacity is not reduced in the aprotic or non-polar solvent. But when we carry out the reaction in the protic solvent or the polar solvent, then the nucleophile gets surrounded from all sides by the solvent molecule, and because of its solvation, it gets stabilized, and if it gets stabilized, then its attacking capacity on the carbon atom of the alkyl halide get decreased, and therefore the rate of the SN2 reaction get decreased. Means the SN2 reaction is not favored in the polar or protic solvent, it is favored in the aprotic or non-polar solvent. Aprotic means the solvent which cannot produce the proton, which doesn't have the proton or the hydrogen ion. The solvent which doesn't contain the H positive ion is known as the aprotic solvent. And the solvent which contains the hydrogen ion is said to be the protic solvent. So SN2 reaction is favored in aprotic solvent, and SN1 reaction is favored in the protic solvent. Then here there is a simple question. If there are two alkyl halides, CH3, CH2, 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 Br, one, and other CH3, CH, Br, CH2, CH3. If both of these alkyl halides are subjected to SN2 reaction, SN2. If they are subjected to SN2 reaction, if both of them take part in the SN2 mechanism or SN2 reaction, then which of them will be more reactive? It is a very simple question. Now here out of these two, this is the primary alkyl halide and this is the secondary alkyl halide. And already in the previous lecture we have studied the order of reactivity of the alkyl halides for the SN2 reaction is methyl is greater than primary is greater than secondary is greater than tertiary. So this is the primary alkyl halide and this is the secondary alkyl halide, and therefore for the SN2 reaction the primary alkyl halide, that is the 1-bromobutane, will be more reactive than the 2-bromobutane, which is the secondary alkyl halide. So in this way SN2 reaction can be studied and SN1 reaction and the factors which affect the SN1 and SN2 reaction. Then one more question is there. The allyl bromide and benzyl bromide are more reactive or highly reactive towards the SN1 mechanism. They are more reactive towards the SN1 mechanism, SN1 reaction. So here the reason is, you know that in the SN1 reaction there is a formation of carbocation as an intermediate in the first step. Carbocation is formed in the SN1 reaction. Now it will give which carbocation by the heterolytic fission? It will give the allyl carbocation, CH2 double bond CH2 positive plus Br negative. Allyl carbocation, and it will give the benzyl carbocation. Benzyl carbocation. These two carbocations. It will give benzyl carbocation, it will give allyl carbocation. And both of these carbocations are greatly stabilized due to the phenomena of resonance. Here the resonance is possible. Resonance occurs here. This bond will move here and the positive charge will move here. Another structure will become. So resonance is possible here, and because of this resonance, the carbocation which is formed by the heterolytic fission will be greatly stabilized, and because of the stabilization of the carbocation, the SN1 reaction can easily occur. Means they are more reactive toward the SN1 reaction. The benzyl carbocation is also stabilized by the resonance. Here the resonance occurs, and because of this resonance phenomena, it is stabilized to a greater extent. In this way, this pi bond move at this position, and positive charge from this position move to this position. In this way, there are number of resonating structures possible. So these are the resonating structures of the benzyl carbocation. Due to the resonance, the benzyl carbocation is also greatly stabilized, and because of the stabilization of the carbocations, allyl as well as benzyl, the allyl bromide and benzyl bromide are more reactive towards the SN1 reaction.